At $7.99 on the Xbox and PlayStation digital stores, Rogue Explorer seems priced about right for the gamer who wants a cheap and brief diversion from their normal game of choice, but it's worth knowing a little bit about what you're getting and what you're not with this one. I'm Peter Franson from Christian Geek Central, and this is my review after about 3 hours with Rogue Explorer. It's described by the developer using both the term roguelike and Metroidvania. The first line of their description says, side-scrolling pixel art action combines with roguelike challenge for a customizable adventure into the Abyss Tower. The developer also says that it retains the challenge of classic roguelikes without the harsh restrictions or futile frustrations. Several elements of the game's longer description interested me, and so I want to thank East Asia Soft Limited for providing a review copy of the game for me to check out and then talk about. I've been on an ongoing quest to discover Metroidvanias that fall into the subcategory I call symphony-like, which includes RPG elements that allow for grinding experience points for players like me who dislike difficulty and want to mitigate it that way. But in addition to this game being a Metroidvania, it also borrows elements from the roguelike genre, such as randomized level layout and relatively short runs, after which you lose most of the upgrades you've obtained. But in Rogue Explorer, you keep acquired gear and coins, which you can use to unlock permanent upgrades between runs. So in this way, you can develop your character over time as you would in the average action RPG. At a glance, you can probably tell that this is a low-budget game. Both the small price tag of $7.99 and the retro pixel visuals telegraph its very indie nature, but that's never a mark against a game in and of itself for me, as so many pixel art games can still convey an interesting world and visual design. However, in this case, I have trouble appreciating the visuals. Very soon after entering a new level for the first time, the visual aesthetic feels like those classic cartoon backgrounds on a loop when a character is just running for a while. It gives a very brief statement of the setting for the level, but otherwise all looks the same. The music is similarly repetitive. After what seems a small number of measures, the music loops around to the beginning again, which at least back at the home base led me to just turn off the music altogether out of weariness from the repetition. The lack of variety also felt true of the enemies, including both their visual designs and behavioral animations, which are very simple and heavily recycled, with sometimes nothing noticeable apart from a model or color palette having been changed. Even bosses, despite being much larger than regular enemies, have seemingly the same copy and pasted simplistic attack animations and behaviors as a typical weapon-wielding enemy you'll find on many levels. This is all likely, at least in part, a result of the procedural level generation, and is part of the price players often have to pay for this type of game. But if the core gameplay loop is fun for you, you may not notice or care about these other elements. I do like the controls, and the jumping in particular has the agile, floaty, slightly floaty anyway, feel that's very common and fun in many Metroidvanias. You also start out with the ability to wall jump and the ability to attack enemies by bouncing on them, sort of Mario style. So controlling my hero has a fun, springy feel to it that I'm generally enjoying. Attacking feels just a little unusual to me, as your main weapon floats in front of you and quickly darts forward when you hit the attack button, striking enemies and returning to you with each button press at a speed dependent on the weapon's stats. You also gain additional floating weapons that auto-attack nearby enemies, sort of in the way that an unpredictable, AI pet might do that's following you around in this type of game. Attacking enemies feels pretty solid to me, so no major complaints, but it's unclear to me at times how close I can get to an enemy before they will damage me. Sometimes, especially noticeable in boss fights, I can overlap the enemy's large melee weapon and not take any damage, so it's taking some getting used to figure out when I'm safe exactly. As I mentioned earlier, your character becomes more powerful as you use the gold retained from each run or acquired from dismantling unwanted loot to buy permanent upgrades. There is also a crafting system that allows you to merge or enhance weapons to make them more powerful. The skill upgrade tree is pretty simplistic, however. The vast majority of unlocks in the tree seem to be static health boosts that also quickly felt minimal compared to the amount of money I was required to invest to upgrade a single node on the tree. I've only spent about 3 hours with the game, and I'm a little less than halfway through that upgrade tree, but with largely static health upgrades upgrades and 1% bonuses to things like dodging and criticals, I don't feel incentivized to upgrade my skill tree much. The equipment system is still a big mystery to me in some key respects. At the home base, when looking through my supply of acquired weapons and deciding which to equip, I may, for example, have a sword in my supply box listed with an attack rating of 6. Opening it up for a closer look reveals it has 2 enchantments, one giving attack +2, the other giving attack +1. Okay, 6 plus 2 plus 1, so is the total attack rating 9? Well, you might think so, but when I equip it in my left-hand slot, the number 21 is displayed next to a sword icon. Even more puzzling, with 2 weapons equipped, a 21 in my left hand and a 27 in my right hand, the sword icon displayed beneath my character has the number 106. This mysterious behind-the-scenes math is frustrating enough for me in a complex game like Monster Hunter World, but in a game this simple, I don't want to be wondering whether or not a weapon in my inventory is worth equipping or not. There also doesn't seem to be a way to compare the stats of your equipped items with a given inventory item, and so I have to actually try on equipment to get even a limited sense of how powerful it is relative to what I just had equipped. It's one of those things that doesn't ruin the game or anything like that, but just feels just dysfunctional enough for my purposes that it kind of takes the fun out of acquiring new items while I'm out exploring. As far as themes go, while I do always keep an eye out for themes of moral, philosophical, or spiritual significance going on in the games that I play, there is, unsurprisingly for this type of game, nothing like that to be found here. In fact, there doesn't seem to be a story of any kind that themes might be hung on. The game starts and you immediately have the options of managing equipment and upgrades in the hub or going out to explore a level. Apart from the light aesthetic trappings, this seems to be an entirely gameplay-focused experience. As I said, for $7.99, this might be a fun diversion for a gamer that likes to buy cheap indie games just to kind of try them out as an evening's entertainment, but I don't spend my money that way, and I really like to get a lot of game for my money. Maybe at a deep discount, I would drop a couple dollars to try this game out, but for that $8, I'd prefer to wait for a good sale on a number of other games, as there are many more games I could recommend for those who like action RPGs, and even a couple symphony-like Metroidvanias in particular. For example, Chasm is $6 right now on the PlayStation Store until September 15th, and well worth the time and that amount of money for any symphony-like Metroidvania fans. So those are all my thoughts. I would love to get yours in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, Christian Geek Central is launching our Game Save event for the first time this year, and I would love for you to be a part of the 2021 Game Save team. As a member of the team, you will be raising funds for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital throughout October by telling friends, family members, or co-workers about your fundraising, and if you like, doing some kind of game-related event, like a game night at your home or church, or like me, you can do a crazy 24-hour video game marathon. As your team leader, I'll provide tips and resources to make your fundraising as fun, easy, and effective as possible. For more information about the event or how to sign up, check out the links to some helpful videos below. You can also leave a comment or email me at paeter@spiritblade.com with any questions. I cannot wait to get this started. Would love for you to join me. Thanks.